Thank you for watching this clip of Not My Bag.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
And if you're listening, give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I know that George has some fun facts because, so to give you some context, George was born in 2002.
Yeah, I'm 19.
So he's 19.
And wasn't it Spice Girls split in 2000?
We've actually never split up.
Oh.
That's the little thing, because we decided
papers.
back, so we released an album, I think Forever was released maybe in 2000.
Okay.
And that was the last album we did, yeah. But Jerry had already left. She left in 98. And then after that, a couple of the girls got pregnant and we just had this like quite natural, time apart. We all went off and did solo projects. But we didn't want to like officially split because we had so much interested intrusion from the press, like the tabloid media at that point, that we were like, you know what, let's just go and do our thing. And now we feel really happy that we made that decision.
Kind of like never say never, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like, do you know what I mean? It could be 5 years' time, 2 years' time, like 10 years' time. You're all like, you know what, let's just make another song.
The other thing is, once a Spice Girl, always a Spice Girl.
Love that.
So I'm a Spice Girl as I'm sitting here, and that will never change.
I think that's so great because a lot of artists, particularly, go away from what they came from, but in a way that's so far gone that some people do take a step back, aren't they? And they're like, this is a lot, because they try and change the image so much.
Yeah, they're trying to.
I know One Direction did that, didn't they? Completely, we don't want to be known as this anymore. Like, it's done. But I think throughout the years and the impact you've had on pop culture and British culture, to still have that is really nice.
Yeah, but you know what? I completely understand why people do it, because I did do it myself.
Yeah.
I think when you've been part of something, which if, again, being lucky enough to be part of something that's successful, but it's what people know you for. And when you're a young person, you're trying to figure out who you are.
Find yourself.
You're like, I want to be an individual. I want people to see me for me. So I kind of rebelled and didn't want to be sporty and cut my hair off and did like rocky tracks. And I needed to do that.
It's just finding yourself, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like a journey, isn't it?
But you come back because you go, now I am so proud and I embrace being sporty.
Yeah.
And,
but that's what's so,
I love that.
That's what's so nice about it as well, because you see all these girl bands, boy bands, and they all fall out, and it's just like, it's just a bit sad, isn't it? Because the bands were so successful, but then what sticks in your head a lot of the time nowadays with social media is they all hate each other. And that's the first thing you say, like, oh, do you remember One Direction? They hate each other. Or, do you remember so-and-so? It's just not nice, is it?
Do you know what? I think the thing is as well, when you're in that situation, it's so pressured.
Oh, I can imagine. And the touring as well.
And you're with each other like 24/7. And that's going to, like, anyone's going to get on your nerves.
And especially when there's a group of like 4 or 5 of you. Do you know? It's not just like 2 of you or something, you can have your time off. You walk into another room, there's someone else.
George and I know this, working together, basically living together. My mum the other day, she never sees us argue. We barely argue, do we? Never ever. And in the kitchen, I swear, this scream off, my mum was like, stop, stop. It was
just like lack of sleep, being together,
pressure
too much
cooker,
pressure.
like sleep,
but
work.
the thing is, when you're that comfortable with somebody, because you love each other regardless.
Yeah.
The people you can just really be honest with.
Oh no, that's what we did. We had a massive row, and then 5 minutes later, we were like, right, let's film this advert. Do you know what I mean? And everything was
do
gone.
Though, as well. It's hard when it's business, isn't it? And you've got to think of that side of things. So, but I know George has some like fun facts about you that he wanted to reel off and find out a bit more about, basically.
Ooh.
So, is it? I'm not going to say is it true, because it probably is. You've had 12 UK #1 singles.
Well, if that's what it says on Wikipedia, probably.
That is a crazy stat, though, considering the amount of like music.
That's pretty good. Yeah, pretty damn good. That is
churned out every year and stuff. And obviously, because as I said, I'm younger. Like obviously, we know Spice Girl songs and stuff like that, but I didn't realize how well your own career had gone as well. Like Joe was showing me songs. I was like, I know this song. Joe was like, yeah, that's Mel. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you just hear a song and it's one of them songs kind of everyone knows.
You probably heard him in the womb, didn't you, George?
Mum was probably playing him whilst I was being popped out or something.
Do you know what? That's really good to hear, because obviously like Spice Girl songs, they're quite universal. Do you know what I mean? Young people do discover the Spice Girls. But as a solo artist, I didn't know if that was the case.
The funny thing is as well, and I do it as well all the time. Like I'm like very laddie and all that, but if someone plays Spice Up My Life or something, I'm like,
I've got
to dance. Do you know what I mean?
Show you afterwards.
It's one of them. Like you're all like, no, I'm not going to dance.
It's a bit infectious,
and then all of a
isn't
sudden, 5 minutes later, I'm like, what?
Especially after a couple of pins.
Yeah.
Couple of pins.
Did you also create and founded your own your own record label?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I was signed to Virgin Records with the Spice Girls, and then my first 2 solo albums came out with those guys. And it was just a mad old time in music when, the dawning of the digital age, and like there was like sharing files, and it was the music industry was completely shaken up for a few years because they were so arrogant. They didn't think that this technology was going to change everything, because in the 90s we sold millions of records.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. It's completely changed. As you know, now it's all about streaming. And my second album kind of came out when that was all going on, and it did okay. I mean, to be fair, compared to today's, it did amazing. But at the time, they released me from my contract, and I was like, well, I can try and sign with another major, potentially go to an independent, or I'd done really well with the girls, do it myself. Yeah. And I thought it was such the opposite of all of my previous experiences. Yeah. I just thought, yeah, fuck it, let's do
it. Yeah.
That's so cool. When was that?
Gosh, it must have been 2000. Well, the album it was my third album, Beautiful Intentions. I'm going to say 2005, maybe 2004, 2005.
See, back then as well, not many people did that, because everyone just went major, didn't they? And especially now, like a lot more people are doing going
and also back then,
because of
there
streaming.
was only a certain amount of like record labels, weren't there? It's not like nowadays where there's probably hundreds. Back then, it was probably like the top 5 or
It was so different. It was mad. Like from the very beginning of the process, like when you're recording music, like back in the day, the first 2 Spice Girls albums were recorded on. They used to have these huge big tape machines. Now you can record an album on your laptop,
on your phone. Yeah, like we could be like, let's do one now.
So it's everything's changed.
I bet that's crazy for you to see though as well. Like you've lived through like the whole period of just it evolving.
But I feel really lucky because, like I say, in the 90s when people were buying like physical albums, CDs. Yeah. Maybe not cassettes at that point.
I've still got the CD player.
Yeah, I like having,
Jerry up there.
And the great, like, oh, have you? We'll have to change that, won't we? I'm only joking. So yeah, and I found it's lovely for them to have the physical copy and like collectibles. But it's mad.
Like I used to always get the albums and look at the booklets and the lyrics in the booklets.
Yeah,
like
me too.
The novelty of doing that. Yeah. That's why I ordered so many CDs for the pod. All my friends were like, he's having a breakdown. Like I was putting it on my story.
But have you got a record player?
I've got this. Oh, what, a record, like a cassette?
Like a vinyl record player.
Our dad's got a massive collection of decks, which we love. And he was always playing them and mixing them, all that stuff. He still does it. Yeah.
He thinks he's a DJ.
He's good. He's not bad at all.
He isn't bad.
I mean, he's getting a bit deaf. So some of the mixes are a bit hit and miss. Yeah, he's still giving it a go.
Straight to another song. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh yeah, no, bless him.
Have you ever met Madonna? Because she is quite a big influence on you, isn't she?
Yeah. So I discovered Madonna, how old was I? I must have been, I suppose it was about 11 or something. It was like mid-90s, mid-90s, I'm going to say, mid-80s. And she was like the first artist that just did all the things that I loved. Singing, dancing, costumes, really theatrical. Yeah. So I was like really drawn to her and she really inspired me. And the first time I met her was at the MTV Music Awards in New York with the Spice Girls in 1997.
I bet that was like wow, like
yeah, absolutely.
She's real, like she's here.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. And the girls were like, "Oh, Melanie better sit down before she falls down." I was like,
oh yeah, that's not what I need right now.
Trying to be cool.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, mad things. I've had mad experiences with Madonna. Like I was in New York after we toured in 98 and the phone rang in my hotel suite. And so we went, I've got Madonna on the line for you. And I thought, yeah, right. I thought it's going to be one of the other girls just messing about, right? Yeah. Anyway, so I was like, yeah. And she went, hey, sweetie. And I was like, hello, Madonna. And she invited me out to dinner. And so I've kind of hung out with her a little bit, which is, pretty wild.
Pretty sick.
That is wild. That's and she's still going strong.
She is. I mean, she's still pushing boundaries. And that was always the thing about Madonna. She does what she wants. She will not be told what she can and can't do.
Yeah. And she's still doing it, which I absolutely love. Yeah. And I remember I watched her Super Bowl. Her Super Bowl performance was so good, wasn't it? Like that's for me, that was one of the pinnacles that I absolutely loved watching her on.
I think it's the live performance. It's the attention to detail.
Yeah. I still see because TikTok is all we do at the minute. It's all we're scrolling on. And there's still clips of her tours and things like that on there on my For You page, which I love seeing.
I mean, she's an artist. If it's someone you only know her from now, it's worth going back and, rediscovering her because she was, everyone was always saying she's this the master of reinvention.
Yeah.
So from when she came out in the Desperately Seeking Susan era, and then, she was just really groundbreaking. She always works or, worked with people that are up and coming, what's going to be fresh.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. She was the person who found all the new hot things.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that.